All right, so let's look at finding the surface area of a rectangular prism when we only have part of the net filled out. So we've got our three-dimensional shape here, our rectangular prism. We've got our net that would match that. And then we've got some measures sent in here. Now, things we want to remember about rectangular prisms. It has two rectangular bases. That's what we see on the top or bottom here. It has four lateral faces because the rectangle has four sides. And we should have three sets of rectangles. So let's look here. We found our three measures. We said, okay, we've got 20, we've got a width of 7, and we've got this height of 11. When I think about the properties, okay, we remember, let's say I'm using blue to represent my rectangle number 1. I remember that this first rectangle here is going to be, let's say, representing rectangle number 1. And then it alternates. So it goes rectangle number 1, not. Rectangle number 1 again. So these two right here that alternate should be equivalent. They should equal each other. Okay? For rectangle number 2, I'm going to use pink, and I'm going to say it's this next one right here. Okay, and remember it should alternate. Blue, pink, blue, this one would then be pink. They're equal to each other. And then the last one, I'm going to use yellow to represent my bases. So my top base and my bottom base should be equal to each other. So now let's fill in because we need to know what the dimensions are. So we need to kind of use our knowledge of rectangular prisms and their corresponding nets. So when I look at this here, I'm going to remember that it goes base, sorry, my base of 20, base of 7. This one's going to be base of 20, base of 7. So it alternates 27, 27. Okay. What I also want to note is if the height here is 11, the height in all of these is going to be 11. So for my rectangle number 1, which we did in blue, we have a base of 20 and a height of 11. So I'm doing 20 times 11, which is going to give me 220. So that means both of these blue rectangles here are 220, and I'm going to list them right here. For rectangle number 2, we highlighted in pink. I have a base here of 7 and the same height of 11. So we're going to multiply 7 times 11, which gives me 77. So if this pink rectangle is 77, this one is 77 as well. So those two are being added. And then last, we have our two bases. There's not that much information given to us there, but if this length across right here is 20, that means this bottom length is 20 as well. The hard one is remembering what this height is. What we have to remember is that these two, if you have a net, would fold into each other, so they are congruent. So it's 20 by 7. So I'm going to multiply 20 times 7, and I get 140. So if my bottom one is 140, my top one is 140. So those are the ones I'm adding over here. And if you think logically about it, we should have 3 sets. So we've got 2 220s, we've got 2 77s, we've got 2 140s. So we've got 3 different sets there. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these all together. And I get that my final answer is 874. Our units were inches squared. Looking at number 2. Again, it's already somewhat pre-filled out for us. So we've got 30 by 15 by 18, and we filled that out here just like it was for the first one. So I'm going to highlight, I've got rectangle number 1 I'm going to do in blue. I'm going to start with this first one on the left again. But I'm remembering this one should be congruent to this one right here where it alternates. So it goes blue, not blue, blue, not blue. I'm going to use pink again for my second rectangle. I'm going to do it for that second one here on the left. And remember, it should alternate blue, pink, blue, pink. And then the last one, again, I'm going to use yellow. I'm going to use that for my top and bottom base. Now let's go through and calculate our dimensions. For rectangle number 2, we have this is 30. So remember, it should go 30, 15, 30, 15. It alternates. And then if this height here is 18, that means the height for all of these is 18. So for rectangle number 1, our base is 30 times our height of 18 should give us an area of 540. If this one's 540, this one's 540 as well. So those are the two that I'm going to add for my first one. All right, rectangle number 2. We have a base of 15, a height of 18. So we're going to be multiplying 15 times 18 to get our total area of 270. Which means this other pink one here should be 270. Those are my rectangle number 2s. And then last one, our base. So again, being careful as we are listing this out. There's nothing listed here, but if this length across is 30, that means this length across is 30. And then the height, as I said before, is kind of difficult, but remember if we folded this net, these two sides would fold in together, which means this height matches that side, 15. So we're going to multiply 30 times 15, and we get our area of 450, which means the top is 450 as well. So then what we're going to do is we're going to add these all together to get that our total area is 2,520 inches squared. We'll do one more together and have you try the last one on your own. So we've got our 3 dimensions here. The difference is that it's not at all filled into the net for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling it in a little bit on my own. So we've got this 12 across here. I'm going to list that right here. And technically, we could have it listed differently. You might pick a different spot to put it, and it still could work out. My next length is this width here of 7. I'm going to put right here. And what I remember is it alternates 12, 7, 12, 7. The other measure that's given to us is 9. That's going to be our height. So I know that that means 9 is the height for all of these. Now let's go through and we'll finish filling in the rest of the numbers later, but just like I've been doing, I'm going to do rectangle number 1 in blue. And it matches up here. I'm going to do rectangle number 2 in pink. And then I'm going to do rectangle number 3, our bases in yellow. So as I'm calculating the area for rectangle number 1, I see that we have a base of 12 and a height of 9. So I'm going to multiply 12 times 9 is 108, which means the other blue one is 108 as well. For the pink rectangle, I'm multiplying my base of 7, my height of 9, which gives me 63. So both of my pink rectangles are 63. And then the last one for the yellow bases. We've got no measures on here, but if this length across is 12, that means this length across is 12. And if we folded this net, these two sides would match up. So that side has to be 7. So 12 times 7 is 84, which means the top is 84 as well. So again, you should double check. Do I have 3 different sets? Yeah. 108, 108, 63, 63, 84, 84. And then I'm going to finish by adding them all up together. And I get a total area of 510 inches squared. Let's actually do one more together, and then I'll have you do the formative again on your own. So looking at the 3 measures that are given to us, we've got 9, we've got 5, we've got 8. So I'm going to plug that into our shape here. This 9, this long length of 9 here, I'm going to match up on the bottom here. The next length or width here of 5, I'm going to match here. And I'm going to remember it alternates. 9, 5, 9, 5. The other measure that's given to us is this height of 8. So that tells me that the height of my prism is 8. And that means every single height here in the middle length is going to be 8 as well. Which makes sense. If we kind of look at this square, it shows a base of 5, a height of 8, which is what we have right here, 5 and 8. Just like I've been doing, rectangle number 1, I'm going to highlight in blue. And the matching rectangle, which is this third one here, because it alternates. Rectangle number 2, I'm going to highlight in pink. And the matching one. And the last one I'm going to highlight in yellow. All right, so now let's start doing our calculations. So for rectangle number 1, we have a base of 9 and a height of 8, so I'm doing 9 times 8, which is 72, which tells me both of these blue ones is 72. For rectangle number 2, we have a base of 5 and a height of 8, so I'm doing 5 times 8, which is 40. Which tells me this other one is 40 as well. And the last one, a little bit harder again. We have no length across, but if this length across on the top is 9, that means the bottom is 9. And when we would fold up this net, these two sides would fold together, so it has to be 5. 9 times 5 is 45, which tells me the top is 45 as well. And then last step, we're going to add these all together. And we get 314 inches squared.